America. My name is Sophia Prani, and welcome to Oya's News, reporting live from Stephen F. Austin High School. We are thankful to have you all here today. Today's hot topic of the hour is healthcare and the infamous Affordable Care Act, better known as Obamacare, and the HR 3590 Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act. Today, we are joined by two representatives here to discuss this controversial topic. Let's let them introduce themselves and show their viewpoints on this specific topic.
Hello, my name is Robert, and I'm a Democratic representative from California. I graduated from UC Berkeley and have been involved in the political field for around 10 years now. I believe affordable healthcare should be provided to all Americans, and legislation like the Medicare bill, the Children's Health Insurance Program, also known as CHIP, and the Affordable Care Act all help achieve this goal. Every American should be able to receive coverage without issue. Remember that no one should have to choose between taking their child to a doctor and paying the rent.
Hi, my name is Gibran, and I'm a Republican representative from Texas. I've been in the political field for around 30 years now, and I'm a firm believer in the idea of a smaller government with minimal involvement in the average citizen's life. Individuals should be in charge of their own care and their own costs, and we should focus on a patient-centered healthcare system. I also believe that Medicare is unsustainable, as well as Medicaid with close to $37 million in unfunded obligations. Medicaid demands an unreasonable amount of funding that can be used by the government. We need to focus on growing the economy and businesses before taking on this endeavor.
Okay, thank you so much, guys, for introducing yourselves. Today, I have a few questions for both of you regarding healthcare and the recent California versus Texas Supreme Court case. Firstly, what is your stance on the Affordable Care Act, which increases overall health coverage? Do you agree with Trump's recent efforts to repeal this legislation? Let's start with Gibran.
I believe that healthcare as a whole should be independent of government interference. The Affordable Care Act represents a government that is extending their reach much too far and sets a dangerous precedent going forward. Let's start with a more obvious problem, that being the influence of communism on the American people. A standardized form of healthcare that only benefits the lower classes sounds straight from the Soviet Union. Though our President Trump could not appeal this act due to the excessive amounts of Democrats in Congress, he did all he could to help stifle this evident breach of American values. The left simply values its government more than its people, and Obamacare is a direct result. Why should my tax dollars go to others who didn't work as hard as I did? Then what's the point of my work if we're just giving handouts? President Trump did all he could, and while he was not successful, that doesn't mean that we have to stop. As a representative of Texas, I stand firmly against the Affordable Care Act and any acts that give the government more authority over the people. The Democrats simply want to stretch a helping hand to the less fortunate with my tax dollars that I pay from my job. Joe Biden trying to reinvent universal health care is futile, and the Republican Party will not stand for it. Thank you.
Wow, absolutely preposterous. Healthcare is a very sensitive topic to me, and I wholeheartedly believe in the commitment and dedication to the idea. The Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, is a vital piece of legislation that encourages expansion of accessible healthcare, emphasizing quality and affordable healthcare that is available for all Americans. Our country benefits from this law as it grants a stable source of healthcare made for the people. President Trump's action to sabotage what Democrats and Obama worked so hard towards is nothing less than foolish. We presented and passed the idea to help the people, and Trump's actions are nails in the coffin to our hard work. The Affordable Care Act was established to offer health insurance to many individuals and small businesses, providing coverage to more than 10 million people annually. Trump's action to reduce the reach of the legislation by cutting subsidies and enrollment periods in half are outrageous. He is encouraging the idea of letting the rich get richer and sacrificing the feelings of the vast majority through his actions, which clearly highlight the idea that access to affordable healthcare is not a priority in his and the Republican Party's eyes. Clearly, he doesn't understand that healthcare should be a top priority and a basic human right. We understand that the act may have some flaws, but all that means is that we should spend more time fixing it and supporting it, not the opposite. For example, Joe Biden's ACA 2.0 is a great example of the route we should be taking, improving the Affordable Care Act and fighting for better healthcare for more individuals.
Thank you guys for sharing your perspectives. Let's take a quick turn and talk about the recent California versus Texas Supreme Court case. This specific case challenged the ACA's minimum essential coverage provision, or the individual mandate, which provides that people should pay a minimum level of health insurance coverage and those without need to pay a financial penalty. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act in 2017 set the shared responsibility payment at $0, but now the idea that the individual mandate is unconstitutional has been brought up. What are your thoughts on this recent attempt to strike down the ACA?
This attempt to strike down the ACA is exactly what America needed to recognize the flaws Obamacare holds, and yet the lib-centric government voted against it. But who's surprised? This country refuses to adhere to common sense and accept that Obamacare and any attempt at universal healthcare is simply an attempt to socialize America, and we won't have it. If one part is unconstitutional, then every single part of the act needs to be put away. The penalty for not buying health insurance is something that ought to be enforced, and if Congress doesn't agree, they ought to throw out the entire thing. The Republican Party, especially here in the great state of Texas, will not be silenced by this overly biased court case. Thank you.
Wow. These recent attempts to strike down the ACA are horribly flawed and contradictory in nature, thus making it unsurprising that it was struck down and rejected. The case was an overall win for Democrats and for good reason. Healthcare is a universal right, and the mandate is not a problem that should be challenged. The ACA is here to stay, and universal healthcare for the prosperity of the United States has been established. From then on out, our only focus should be improving this act, not repealing it. The Texas versus California case is an example of an attempted shot at the act and what happened to doing so. The plaintiffs did lack standing, and the injuries they alleged were not traceable to the government's allegedly unlawful conduct. The law, once again, is here to stay and should only be improved for the best of our nation.
Thank you very much, Jabron and Robert, for your insight on this topic. I appreciate both of your viewpoints and delightful conversations. This is Sophia Prani, and I'm signing off from OAS News. Have a great night, America. Thank you.